And good evening, Midlands African Chamber. Welcome to another edition of Power Hour, brought to you by our champion supporter, the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. I am your host, Shay Ololafe, a board member of the Midlands African Chamber, and we are back again for another edition of our Power Hour. We bring social capital to you to help you grow, scale, and build your businesses, to grow and maintain and understand wealth. And today we have our special speaker, Charles Ahovissi, with the African Culture Connection. But before we start, before we introduce Charles, I want to do what we always do and go over some highlights of events that are coming up your way. First and foremost, this coming Saturday, April 22nd at 9 a.m., there is a meet and greet with the Nebraska Commission on African American Affairs. That will be held at the Omaha's North High School. You don't want to miss this. If you hadn't realized that Nebraska has teamed up and created a commission to understand the issues that our community faces, this opportunity to meet those commissioners and to talk and to meet and greet them and to get your ideas out there. If there's something that's bothering you and you want to have it addressed by this commission, this is your opportunity to find out who's who and have your voice heard. Next up is on April 28th, there's a Pitch Black Accelerator DEI and Wellness for Founders. That's going to be held on between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. at Modus Co-working. That's an event you don't want to miss because, as you heard in previous Power Hours, it's all about maintaining your asset and making sure your number one asset is maintained. And that number one asset is yourself. So don't miss the Wellness for Founders on April 28th at Modus Co-working. On May 13th, there's Africa Djawa, which is hosted and presented by yours truly, the African Culture Connection. And we're going to get into that in just a minute. But more importantly, that's going to be on May 13th at 6:30 at Omaha West Side High School. And last but not least, we're back again. And we're back again for another round of Pitch Black. And this year, you do not want to miss it. We've had an accelerator program that's been going through, and we're going to have competitors like none other. July 8th, mark your dates now. This is an event you do not want to miss. You want to be in the forefront of what we're doing here in Omaha, Nebraska, period, because it's open for the entire state of Nebraska. And more importantly, this is a Pitch Black competition where we're giving away capital, not just social capital like we do in Power Hour, but actual capital to grow, scale, and build your business. Now, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce my good friend, Charles Ahovissi, the founder and artistic director of the African Culture Connection. Charles, welcome to a Power Hour.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Now Charles, I appreciate you coming on. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Charles Ahovissi, and I am from Benin, West Africa.
Ooh.
I was professional teaching artist and performing artist in Benin until I came to Omaha, Nebraska in 1998.
So how long were you teaching in Benin?
I'm sorry.
How long were you teaching in Benin?
I was 12 years old when I started teaching in Benin.
Oh.
12 years old when I started teaching in Benin. And in 1998, there was one nonprofit organization at that time. It was called La Belle Afrique Foundation. That was the nonprofit that brought Ballet National of Benin, my dance group of Benin, to Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
I have 22 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
They're all in the back. Yeah, they're in Africa. So I go there sometime just to visit them. I still have my mom alive. So just a little bit about me. I'm married with 4 kids. So I do a lot of teaching and performing. at different schools and different nonprofit organization sites.
So Charles, how did you come? I mean, you're the founder of African Culture Connection. How did you come to fund this organization?
Yes, it was not easy, but I'm glad to tell you, when I first came to Omaha, Nebraska, I was doing the activity by myself. I was going to different schools, different after-school organization, teaching the culture of Africa and then the history through the traditional African dancing, drumming, and storytelling.
Okay.
So basically, it was a one-man show. And then at that time, I noticed that a lot of schools were not having me. I believe that they did not have funding to bring me in, into the schools. So I decided, well, if I can create a nonprofit organization and then be able to write a grant and get the grant, then I will be able to go to those schools and to go to those organizations that could not get the funding and have me. So that was the main idea. But at the same time, wanted to share, the beauty of Africa with them, wanted to share the life aspect that African ancestors used to have before the colonization. So I decided that, well, it's good. What 20 people can do is going to be more than what one person can do. So basically, it was just one-man show. And I said, well, let's just create a nonprofit organization. We're going to be able to get the grant and then go to the school, go to the kids, and do the job.
So when did you come up with this idea versus when you actually launched?
2002, 2003, I was having, some of these ideas because, I always go to schools in Miller Public School in West Omaha. So I thought, well, what do I do? So I started having these ideas around 2002, 2003.
And when did the African Culture Connection then open its first doors?
I've been talking to this and also talking to my wife about this. And then when we had the ideas and everything, it took us 2 to 3 years before we were able to, to get, the article of incorporation and be able to get the 501c3. So it's like 2006, November 2006.
So what you're telling me is it wasn't like overnight. Like you just didn't come up with the idea and the next day you're like, I'm going to do this.
I'm telling you, when I first came to this country, I have a lot of hair on my head. But I can tell you here, this is my head right here. There's no more hair. So every night when I go to bed, I always think about the organization. Every night. I don't sleep. Every night. How can I do to make sure that I sustain the organization, the employee, the program? If I knew this before, I would just say no to nonprofit. But I didn't know, but I got it. So I'm not going to give up. Just keep pushing. But it is, it's not easy. I'm telling you, it is not easy.
So in that 2 to 3 years, you were building on the structure of African Culture Connection.
Yes.
And so in 2006, you said you launched it, and you had the Articles of Corporation and the 501c3.
Yes. First of all, once we thought about it, 2 or 3 years, I decided with my wife. Then we said, well, how can we get the 501c3? So we contacted, a lawyer and this lawyer was able to help us file the 501c3 application, and I would say it take less than 2 months before we get the approval.
Okay.
Take less than 2 months.
You got the approval. You got the approval. So you went to a professional.
Yes, we went to a lawyer, and then we told the lawyer this is what we want to do. This is our goal. This is our objective and everything. And then he was able to create all these article laws and everything, and we were able to get it.
Okay, so I guess my key question now is, did you do fundraising before then?
Not at all. I was using my own money.
Okay.
Yes, because before you make money, you have to spend money. Right? No, I was using my own money. I mean, when I was one-man show, every performance that I, perform and all that, I always save the money. So all that money went through the setting up of the nonprofits.
Okay, so this kind of goes back into with whether it's nonprofit or for profits, the funding generally starts off with your own investment.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what happened after you started?
Well, after I started, first of all, in order to have a nonprofit organization, you have to create a board members. You have to create a board members. So we were able to contact and recruit some of the board members that we approached at that time. So once we have our board member set up, we always have the artist available at that time. You know, when I was one-man show, I always have people around, some of the sisters and brothers from, from Africa or from all over the place. I always have them. So before we create this nonprofit organization, I got already half of the artists ready.
Okay.
So we got the board members, we got the artists who are doing the program, and then we start hiring the employee.
So yeah. When you hire the employee, at what point in time did you start getting money in order to pay for the employee?
I will tell you.
Oh, Charles, I think you froze on me. Yep. I think you froze on me, Charles. Okay, 1 second. We're going to see if we can get Charles back. Those of you that don't know, me and technology generally don't get along, but that's okay, because once we get them back, we're going to dig a little bit deeper in the starting and understanding nonprofits and how the African culture connection is bridging communities through music, dance, and art. Hold on, let's see. Where does Charles go? Lost out for a second. But this goes back into some things that are really, really important for anybody who's starting a nonprofit, which comes down to it doesn't happen overnight. Oh, here he comes back. 1 second. Charles.
Yes.
We lost you for a second.
Internet.
I was telling people you can't trust technology. I'm just saying.
Internet. This is my first time saying this here.
So the question I asked was, just to go back, was at what point in time did you get funding to hire that first employee?
2007 and 2008. At that time, it was like middle school learning center initiative. Right now, they changed the name and they call Collective for Youth.
Okay.
So they were the one who started getting, who started giving us funding. And should I mention the name of the funder or no?
No, I mean, it's up to you. If it's confidential, then it's confidential. If it's not, then
Well, yeah. So we started with Middle School Learning Center Initiative, who is now Collective for Youth. And at that time, we got one funder who love what we do, and they were Sherwood Foundation.
Okay. So
since 2007 and 2008.
So did you write the grants yourself, or did you get a grant writer?
My wife wrote the grant at the very beginning. Now, once we start moving on a year and 2 years later, so we hire a grant writer.
Okay.
Yes.
And so when you first began, the cost of grant writing was really just you and your wife.
Yes, it was just our own money.
Okay. And then on top of your own money. So you're doing the work of grant writing on top of paying out of your own pocket.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
so after you hire your first employee, what has sustained? I mean, because you've been around for 17 years now.
Yes.
Or going on 17. You said November.
Yes.
Yeah. So how has your organization been able to sustain for these last 17 years?
Yes. We are lucky because we are gifted. We have a gift from God. And what is that gift? It is be able to teach or be able to perform African culture and history through the dance and drumming without having a PhD, a master, and all that. So that's what I call gift. So with that gift, we go out and then we perform, we teach. Besides grant money, we got some revenue from our pay, residency, and performance.
Okay. So I think this goes into something else. And so if I'm understanding correctly, your revenue sources aren't just from grants.
They are not. 60% of our income come from grant money, but 40% of our income come from our paid performance and residency.
So diversity of sources of income are important in your nonprofit because you're not depending on one source.
Not at all. You as a school or as organization, you say, hey, we want African Cultural Connection to come and teach and perform. You have to pay us.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So in essence, simply because you're a nonprofit doesn't mean you're doing things for free.
You know what? We have to pay the bills.
Like any other business.
Yeah, but sometimes grant is not always guaranteed, right?
No, it is not.
You write the grant application. Sometimes you get no. Sometimes you get yes. So how do you keep up? I mean, you have to be able to find some revenues, from somewhere.
Diversification.
Exactly. Yes, we have to diversify our funding. Oh yes.
So now that you diversified your funding and you moved from one employee, how many employees do you now have?
We got 3 now. 3.
You got 3 employees. Full-time?
Yeah. Oh yes, full-time.
Full-time.
We are small organization, but we do a lot of work like big organizations doing.
Hey, just because you're small doesn't mean you're not mighty.
Here we go. So yes, it is not easy, man. It's not easy.
Okay, so what type of I'm gonna jump into the PowerPoint. What type of programming do you have?
All right, so we got 2 type of programming. We have in school programming / after school. It means we go to the school during the day and then we work with the kids when the teachers are present.
Okay.
Also, we go to the school after school when the teachers are not there. We go to school and then we teach kids. Sometimes it's like babysitting, but sometimes it's kind of serious. So program number 1, it is in school / after school teaching.
Okay.
Second program is what we call engaging our community members. We are focusing on the school because we are educating young people. But how about our community members who are not going to the school?
Right.
That's when our annual event comes in. That's how we reach out to our community members who would like to learn about the African cultures and history through the dancing, the drumming, and then the storytelling. Once a year, we organize this annual event that is coming on May 13th. And then at that time, it is like 1-day event. So we give opportunity to the community members, to learn African dance, African drumming, just to engage with us before the night event.
Okay.
Now the night event, you come to the night event, like depending on, on the ticket that you buy. So you're going to eat African food, and then you're going to sit down and then watch African show, African story told through dancing and drumming.
So this is the programming.
Yes.
And your programming is broken down in 2 separate instances with schools, but then you got the mass outreach, if I understood you correctly.
Exactly.
And that mass outreach is actually coming up on May 13th. I think I said it earlier on if people were paying attention. Africa Djawa. Come on. Let's get the Djawa going on. Let's rejoice Africa, or Africa rejoice.
Yes, Africa Djawa.
Okay. So I want to hit on this because I think this is also very important for our nonprofits or any business. Really, it comes down to, what are you offering in your services?
On May 13th?
Oh, I mean, period, right? So your programming is actually your services, correct?
Absolutely.
And so the programming for your in school, your programming for your after school, and then your overall programming for your Djawa is all about the services that this organization provides.
Yes.
And each of these services, you're getting paid.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes we use the grant money if the grant is available, or sometimes we use our 40% of our own revenue. So we use that sometimes. So you were asking about what we do.
Yes.
Why we do it.
Yes.
You know what? I always remind myself that we will make sure that we find people, and we find somebody who could replace Charles Ahovissi. Meaning, who could do Charles Ahovissi. So when Charles Ahovissi is not here, that person or the group of people will keep the legacy going. That's my dream.
So if I understand you correctly, you talking succession planning.
Exactly. Because, if you ask me, if I can still do the activity, the dance that I usually do 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I cannot do it the same way. So the age is going, but the knowledge is there. So we make sure that we pass this knowledge into somebody else. It doesn't matter this person from Africa but somebody who has a passion Because before you teach about Africa, you have to know a little bit about Africa. You have to have some passion about Africa. You know, I can share this with you that, you know, our program is, is about, transforming young people's, negative perceptions, about Africa. Oh, yes. Because we are not going to talk about the adults right now. I know there are some adults who need to increase the knowledge about Africa. But we are talking about the youth. They are the future generation.
Yes.
So that's why we are targeting the youth. We cannot change the mind 100%, but we want them to understand that Africa is more than a home of lion, tiger, giraffe, and snake. Say, no. I mean, yes, because
it is more than that. It's very more than that.
It's more than that. It's more than that. Africa is about people. It's about beautiful people, knowledgeable people. So that's the setting of our programming. You see, I said earlier that the service that we provide is that we teach and we perform the life aspect that African people used to have before the colonization.
Right.
Before the Europeans, the Portuguese, the English come to Africa and then give us all those modern life. What was the life that we used to have before the colonization? What was the life? That's what we African Cultural Connection we are about. It is called oral.
And so as you teach this, right? This is the passion. This is the service you provide. It's education is what it is. And for those who don't know, education is a business.
It is. You know what? Because I can tell you that there's no doubt, because there is a need of global understanding in our community here, not just Omaha, Nebraska, but in our community. And the more diverse population we have in our community, the more cultural education is needed. Yes, then, we need this in the community. You cannot go to the library and get the book and learn about what we African cultural creation we do. It is oral tradition. You have to get the artist, you travel to Africa, sit down with the elders, be able to learn it.
Yes.
So if we don't do it, it will disappear. So that's the service that we provide in school, after school, and then
Djawa.
Once a year, Africa Djawa. Yes.
Aha.
Yes.
So bottom line is, if those who are interested in knowing and getting that oral history of the roots of Africa and Africans, beyond what our media and our stereotypes would like to paint the picture of Africa to be, there's an opportunity this coming May 13th at 6:30 to experience that. And not only that,
absolutely.
I'm a big kid in a skinny body, and I like to eat good food. So we're talking good African food. And I know from previous Pitch Black experiences, we have some great African chefs right here in the middle. So the opportunity to not only, learn some roots, but also to engage in some good health. I mean, come on. I don't know. At each Pitch Black competition, we eat well.
I'm going to be there next time.
I'm just saying. So we got half hour to go. So I just want to make sure we get through the rest of your presentation. So
no problem.
Education, programming, experience in African culture, touch, feel, and sound. Let's talk about the touch.
You know what? We do not lecture a lot, because our program is kind of hands-on activity.
Okay.
So we have three art forms teach kids. First one is African drumming, African rhythm. We have a lot of repertoire, and then you could come here and then see storage. We got more than 100 drums.
Ooh.
Yes, 100 drums. So we take those drums to the schools. Then each student will be having their own drum. So at the same time that they are learning how to play the pattern, how to play the rhythm, they're also learning why they play that rhythm, who's supposed to play. They also learn the history about that rhythm, the history about the drumming in Africa. So we got African drumming.
Okay.
We got African dancing. You remember I said every aspect of life, Africa, the specific dance.
Yes. Uh-oh. See, just when it starts to get good, we get frozen by technology. I swear, this is Charles. We lost him once again to the internet. I swear. See, technology is only good when it works. I will stand by that. I will stand beyond. I'm showing my age. I get it because, quite frankly, there we go. We got him back. Charles.
Another internet issue. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that, man.
Dancing. We were talking about dancing.
Yeah, so I was talking to you about the dancing. So every day in Africa, long time ago, what our people used to do? They go to the farm, they go hunting, they go fishing. So those daily life activities, so we use them to create a dance. For example, after a good fishing, they come home, the fishermen, they perform a nice dance. After a good hunting, after a good harvest. So those are the daily life activity we are talking about. So once they're not just learning about the history of the dance, but they're also learning about the culture, the movement. Our dances are very, very athletic. So we got the drumming, we got the dancing. The third art form is what we call visual art. Visual art could be like African masks, African jewelry, African clothing, African tapestry. So we help students create those, visual arts. So they are learning those art form also. That's the program that we're in school. So it is a hands-on activity. That's why we say you touch it. You touch the drums. Okay, you touch what we are telling you about. You touch the movement. Okay, the visual art, they use all these supplies and then they create their own, art. So it's like a great program that, we see a lot of changes. We see a lot of impact into this kid life. We always get a lot of feedback, not just from students, but from the teachers also, from the principal of the school, telling us how our programming changed this, student life in good way.
So I think you hit on something very important, and this goes to most businesses, right? Do you send out do you solicit this feedback, or is this feedback part of your overall, like, as you go through and they just randomly give it to you?
No, our programming, before we do our programming, we have to survey kids. Kids have to do the pre-survey, telling us whether they know this or not. Now we do our program. Then after the program, they have to do a post-survey, telling us, oh, we learned this, and that. You see what I'm saying? So we survey kids.
So if I understand you correctly, it's a matter of you did the market research prior to even going in order to cater what your programming is to the clientele. And then you built in
Absolutely.
a feedback loop thereafter to understand how successful your programming was.
First of all our teaching artists, they get together all the time to make sure that the curriculum is updated. We also create a nice curriculum using the Nebraska Education Department, social study, work culture, physical education. We use those standards and then we create our curriculum.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying. So what I was getting at was a matter of, yes, you have your programming, but to get to understand if your programming is effective, you've surveyed.
Absolutely. We have to survey kids before they come, before they come to us.
Right.
We have to have the pre-survey. When the program is done, they have to give us the post-survey, not just the student, but the teachers also. The teachers are being part. They have to tell us whether we do a good job or not.
So my next question is, with that information, what do you do with it?
Oh, well, people who give us money to go to the school, we have to tell them, hey, this is what your money brought us. This is how we spend your money. This is, oh yeah, we have to report back to the donor.
So basically, you built in the data collection in order to therefore justify the grants that you are going for. And
otherwise, they're not going to keep, keep giving you money. No, they're not going to keep funding you.
So it's not just important to have the program, it's important to have the mechanisms in the program to also be able to capture the data.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it. You know what? We don't care. We learned that they don't care whether you are the king, you are the queen, you have a nice program, you have this. No, you have to be able to stay on. No, man. You have to evaluate your program. You have to make sure you are engaging kids. You have to make sure that your program is relevant. Otherwise, no, you're going to be closing the door. Yes, man. You close the door. We are not taking this for granted. No way. No.
Okay. So the next up, I think it's your education program is nationally recognized.
I'm telling you, I'm going to share what Michelle Obama told us. She said, everywhere we go, to tell people that this is a big deal. Yes. This program award was through the National Humanity Youth Program Award. So we have agency called Humanity Nebraska. Every year they have this application that they put, all over the, all over the country, US. So this was 2012. They always fund us. So we got this grant application and we applied. But let me tell you, this grant application is all over the US. It's not just Nebraska. It's nationally. So in 2012, 350 nonprofit organizations applied to get this award.
Okay.
350. Now, out of those 350, they selected, and then they have 50 organizations of those 350. Final selection was done, and then from that 50 organization, they selected and they got 12 organizations. So we were one of those 2 nonprofit organizations nationally that represent the Nebraska, the state of Nebraska. And I can share this with you. That was the first time an organization in the state of Nebraska got that award and went to the White House. We were a small organization, but the way we do our programming is so unique. We do not lecture too much. Our programming, is like hands-on activity, drums, dance, visual art, each are engaged, but at the same time, they are learning about African cultures and history. That's why it is a big deal. So
this, you got yourself to get this national recognition and get this grant. I guess the question I have is how do other nonprofits follow your path and be able to do what you did?
Well, first of all, it's about programming. Out of those 12, there was also one nonprofit organization, like Latino group. They were one of those 12 too. Once you have nice program, well done, quality program, you know what you're doing, you could come to this level. Again, I said, this is a gift.
You did.
This is a gift. This program is well needed in our country here. The way we do, if we don't do it, it will disappear. So other organizations want to do it like us, have unique program. Make sure that your program is relevant, your program is unique, and then you go from there.
So again, this goes back into the quality of what you're providing, whether it's a good or service, and ensuring that you can stand out and ensure that it is as good or the best.
Yes.
So quality over quantity, on top of you distinguish yourself. Well, I mean, that's I don't want to say business 101, but whether you're nonprofit or for-profit, that's the same thing.
It is. I just think that the program, well organized, well written, creative program, will take you anywhere that you want it. It's the program. If your program is not special, your program is not unique, no, you cannot go there. I can just share this with you that in the state of Nebraska and then Iowa, we are only one organization that do what we do. Teach African culture and history through the dancing and drumming and visual arts.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska and Iowa.
There's only one.
Only one.
And it's nationally recognized.
But you know what? We are not taking this for granted. We always make sure that the program is, is evaluated all the time, is being twisted, revise it. Oh yes, you have to be unique.
So
sometimes
over time you've adjusted, you've made changes.
I'm telling you, we made changes because students, they are not always accept your program. Oh yes. Sometimes you have to revise it. You have to make sure that the program you're doing, kids are engaging, kids are learning. Sometimes we have to put our curriculum, our lesson plan aside, and we teach, discipline.
So what I think I'm hearing you say is you gotta be flexible.
That's it.
All right, Charles.
Yes. You have to be flexible. If students are not getting, or not having fun, or not enjoying and learning about your programming, you are not working. No, just close it.
So regardless of whether you're in a nonprofit or for-profit, it's always important to be evaluating what you're doing and be flexible to change. Like, so we're not stagnant and saying, I'm going to do, this is the way I'm going to do it, and this is it. You got to be flexible to who your clientele is what I'm understanding.
Nowadays, students want to do their own thing. Students, yes, they want to be involved. They want to be creative, but they have no idea about your lesson plan. So you have to be, you have to be flexible. Allow yourself, listen to them, include them, so then you do your program. You cannot exclude them.
Okay. So next up on your, we got 15 minutes. Next up is the performing arts team. So tell us about the performance arts teams.
Oh yes. As I said again, when I was one show, I was recruiting a few dancers, few drummers. Sometimes they move out of Omaha to another city. Then at the same time, some of them who move into Omaha from somewhere else. So nowadays we have 20 artists, teaching and performing artists altogether, 20 of them nowadays.
Okay.
So some of them from Africa, some of them from here. We have black, white, green, all kind of colors. We have Chinese. I mean, we have a variety of people, in our group. So we go to UNO and then we rehearse twice a week. We have to rehearse.
Okay.
Oh yes, we can just close our arms and say, hey, we know it, we got it. No, you rehearse every day, all the time. That's how you keep doing your best.
Okay.
So 20 performing artists, well-deserved. Some of them are principal of school. Some of them have their own business. They have their own jobs.
Yes.
So 2 days a week, we come together and rehearse, make sure that we keep this legacy going. So May 13, we're going to have 3 international artists coming into town. That will be coming next week, the end of next week. That will be coming to join these 20 local artists. And then we're going to have this rehearsal going on. We're going to go to the schools, teaching kids. So then the kids will have opportunity to learn from the international artists also. May 13, what's going to happen? We are going to have 50 kids from OPS schools that will come on that day in the morning between 9 and 11. Then we're going to divide them so they'll have the opportunity to learn from these international artists, dancing and drumming. We feed them a lunch, they go home. At that night, they come and they're going to be, in the show.
So you're not only the 20 that you already have, but you're bringing in other people on top of the children that you've already servicing.
Absolutely. We have, we have the local artists, and we always have the international artists who come to Omaha once a year.
Okay.
To join us to be part of this community event. And it is called Africa Djawa.
Djawa.
Yes.
What does Djawa stand for?
It means be joyful. Be joyful. Celebrate. Be happy all the time. Africa Djawa. That's that is what that means.
And so this being your annual events, right? This is the culmination of the African culture connection. This is the big event for your organization every year.
Yes.
And so I the other question I have, because most nonprofits, including the chamber, right? What do you do in order to get the additional support? And I'm not talking just not matter of financial support, but
Right.
manpower support, right? Like to put on an event like this, you need volunteers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
You know,
how
we got, yes.
how do you get your volunteers?
Well, first of all, our board members, they are volunteer.
Okay.
All of them. So all of them join us, prepare the event with us. So we have the board members, we have all those 20 artists, they all volunteer. Besides that, we recruit different people. It could be, it could be like high school people, it could be, anybody. So we get more support from, from friends, from family members, from board members, because we cannot do alone.
No.
It take a whole village.
It does. It does. And I think that's it's indicative of most businesses that's never actually done alone. Like there's no person who goes out and says, I'm doing this solely on my own and have no support and no help from anybody else. I'm sorry, that generally doesn't you get support some way, somehow from somebody. It may not look as how we want it to look, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it comes in different forms. But if I understood you correctly earlier on, the number one support you had was your wife when she wrote the grants.
Yes. Yes. And then after that, we have the members, we have the artists. Everybody play a big role. Everybody. Before we go out there and then recruit more volunteers, we will use our own people, which is all the board members, the artists, the family members, the friends, everybody get together.
Okay.
So that's how we get the support to do this show.
And so if people want to come to the show, what do they have to do?
Well, first of all, they have to purchase a ticket. They could scan, the QR code, in front of us to get the ticket, or maybe they could go to Eventbrite, Africa Djawa Eventbrite to purchase the ticket. And after that, they will be able to enjoy the show and be able to experience, a yearly African culture and history experience. It's so unique that you fly to Africa before you can see what we're about to do on May 30th. Oh, yes, you have to purchase the ticket, get the passport, go see before you can see it. Yeah. But here it is here right now, and we brought it to them. Also, I want to take this opportunity just to tell you that we are not just impacting the life of the youth who are born here. We're also impacting your children. You from Nigeria, your children born here. We got a lot of brothers and sisters from Africa whose children are born here. They need some knowledge of African culture and history. So we also touch base with those kids.
Well, I will admit that I'm actually born here. I'm born and raised in Michigan. And yet there's a reason why I went to Benin this past New Year's. Is because I needed to know my own roots. And I need to know our own people and their own culture. But yes, I can go ahead and do that because I, one, can financially afford to do something like that. But if you can't, here's an opportunity for people who are born here, who have not gone over to Africa, to get in touch with their culture and their roots and what their past is. So I see $25 tickets if you buy online. How long can you buy online?
I'm sorry?
How long can you make the purchase for your tickets online?
Well, you could buy online until the day of the day before May 30th.
Okay, so May 12th, last day to buy online. Then after that, it's $30 at the door. Do those tickets also include dinner, or is it just the VIP tickets?
No, sir. VIP tickets. VIP ticket, and then the sponsorship. We got a lot of sponsor this time. So if you are going to eat the food, you have to buy $150 VIP ticket, or you sponsor us.
Okay.
But when you buy, when you buy $25 or $30 ticket, you are not eating.
So if you want to eat some performance and also eat, I mean, for $150 and getting good African food,
it is awesome, man. I'm telling you,
that's a deal.
And it is it's going to be like unforgettable night, and we want people to buy the ticket, people to approach us and enjoy this beautiful of Africa. It's so beautiful, Africa Djawa. So yeah. It's awesome.
So we got less than 5 minutes left. I want to tell me what the future of African Culture Connection is going to be.
Well, the future of the African Culture Connection is to keep our programming relevant, quality, number one. Number two, make sure that we recruit people, because, I mean, the people who we have right now, time they move out of Omaha, they might disappear, because, due to family, emergency and all that. So it's to recruit more people, make sure that we sustain the artist, the teaching artist, and then the performing artist, and keep your program, done and
And if anybody wants to get involved, how can they get involved and support the African Culture Connection?
Yeah, they can go to AfricanCultureConnection.org, and then go to contact page and send an email. They could also call 402-556-5143 and then talk to us. You can join us free. You don't have to pay. It is free. You join us free. We're gonna teach you how to dance, how to play drums. You join us free.
You hit my favorite word. I like when somebody says something's free, but at the end of the day, there's nothing free in life. You always pay for something, but in this particular case, what you're going to get is an education.
You get an education, and once you're comfortable knowing the dance, the drumming, you could also go out and perform and make money.
So there's also another avenue that you can use in order to better yourself, build, maintain, and grow wealth.
You got it. You got it.
I thank you so very much for this edition of the Power Hour. My African roots are calling out to me, and it just doesn't make sense for me not to be at the African Culture Connection come this May. It's May 13th at the Omaha Westside High School. Starting at 6:30 is the performance. Any final words, Charles, before we close out tonight?
Well, by the way, I just want to inform you, maybe you already know, do you know that Nigeria and Benin were once together? Okay, right.
I do. In fact, when I got to Benin and everybody wanted to speak Yoruba to me, but I don't speak Yoruba, I did not realize that there was a lot of Yoruba culture all throughout Benin.
Thank you so much. Well, I just want to say thank you so much to Midland African Chamber. Thank you so much for putting this show on. We really appreciate your support, and we cannot wait for you all to join us on May 13th. Thank you so much for doing this.
Absolutely. This has been another episode of the Power Hour, brought to you by our good friends, the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. I am your host, Shay Ololafe. Until next time, be well, stay well, and join our tribe. Have a great night, and I'll see you on May 13th. Good night.
All right.